Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's hard to believe. It really is incredible that it seems like it was just a few days ago, at least in my mind, that we saw the tragic attacks of September 11th that killed nearly 3,000 people in New York, most of them Americans, but a large cross-section of the rest of the planet being the center of cosmopolitan America. I knew the terror attack was coming. I saw the hype. I saw the preparation in the media, but I also was sent to law enforcement publications where they were pre-brainwashing the police and military, and I saw them roll out bin Laden as the boogeyman. I knew his code name in the CIA was Tim Osman. I knew his family built most of the major U.S. military bases in the Middle East and the British military bases going back more than 80 years. And I understood that most of the Muslim terrorist leaders are banker financed. That doesn't mean that they don't have jihadis under them who actually hate America and hate the West. It's a very complex situation. And if you haven't studied spycraft, if you haven't studied cloak and dagger, if you haven't studied patsies and decoys, then to hear someone say that a horrible event like 9/11 is an inside job is very upsetting. It's very upsetting for me to say it. I don't enjoy it. It makes me sick to my stomach. I have nightmares about it. But what makes me sicker is knowing that it was an inside job and that I am fully aware of the people that carried out the events and who they are, and that they're going to carry out more events if I don't expose them. And so that's why I bite the bullet. And I made a lot of sacrifices to tell the truth. I was in a Radio Shack today getting a emergency radio because my old one broke, a weather radio. And a gentleman walked up to me and he said, seemed like a friendly person, had a lot of intelligence in his eyes. And he said, I really appreciate your work, Alex, but why are you still alive? And I know you're asking that question. Don't you think I ask it? And I said, look, they don't want to highlight everything I've said. They don't want to underline it. They don't want to add 100 exclamation points to the end of it. They don't want to make me a martyr. They try to just assassinate my character, as Cass Sunstein at the White House says they do. But I didn't say the biggest reason as I left the store, and that's God. The globalists are not all powerful. There is a higher power. We can all feel it. We know it. We see it. The universe bends towards justice. I think it was Martin Luther King said that. Gandhi said the seat of the universe is within each and every one of us. The truth will set you free. And I cannot live in a world, I cannot give in to fear and live in a world in fear where terrorists stage events like 9/11, synthetic manufactured events. I just can't go along with it and be delusional and say, well, that's scary and that's horrible and it's just too incredible to look at, so I'll lie to myself and make excuses to myself and just say, oh, no, it's not an inside job and buy into the fable. You can't do that. The 9/11 lie has been used to kill over 1 million people in the Middle East and to destroy our liberties here. And it's only getting worse. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years after the tragic attacks of 9/11. We're going to be live here for the next 2 hours on this special September 11th, 2011 global transmission. Hard to believe that it is 9/11/11. 10 years later. Now, I am going to review today just a very small smidgen of some of the glaring holes in the official narrative. And then I'm going to open the phones up and take your calls. What is your view of what 9/11 has done to America and the rest of the world, and where we go from here? Do you have evidence that it's an inside job? Obviously, there is evidence. What do you think the most important smoking guns are? Or if you disagree with me, if you think the official story is true, don't be intimidated. Call me. And I'm not here lobbying for phone calls. We can get hundreds of phone calls. We can open up our digital phone system here and get 100 phone calls in within 30 seconds. The phone system is not open yet, but we're opening it in 1 minute. I want to hear from you. 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. So if you want to call in and disagree, you better dial right now. Agree, disagree, have points. I want to hear from you. 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. Now, if you're a new listener, I want to just get something completely straight here. When I say an inside job, when I say a false flag, when I say a self-inflicted wound, I am stating that if you look at the evidence, it's clear, incontrovertible, that the official story is a hoax and is a lie. I believe from the evidence we've got that we have a pretty clear image of how the attacks were carried out. But I tend to not even go there because that is not 100% provable. What is 100% provable is that the official story from end to end, up one side and down the other, is a complete and total ridiculous fabrication. There are over 300 smoking guns that prove 9/11 is an inside job. We have those posted at Infowars.com. In fact, I'm going to call one of the webmasters and have them put it back on the front page, or one of the writers, because I know we reposted that last week, but I want it on the front page of Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, and I'll get that posted there. There's a lot of videos, a lot of evidence there. And we're going to be going over some of that today, but also taking your phone calls. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, I have a little 5-minute news report that we, of course, aired Friday night on InfoWars Nightly News, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain. That streams live and then is archived at PrisonPlanet.tv and InfoWars Nightly News, InfoWarsNews.com. And yes, I already have cable systems and different satellite systems that do want to pick it up, but we're still refining the show and doing some beta testing. That's why some nights it's an hour long, some nights 2 hours. In the future, it will be set to 30 minutes, but we're just gauging and tracking and really just seeing what different formats I like. So we're doing a public beta test at PrisonPlanet.tv. And there'll be expanded special reports there. But on Friday, we went out and talked to 15 people on the streets of Austin, because the guys have got to go out, do their man on the street, turn around, come right back. We interviewed 15, and one person out of the 15 did not think that Building 7 was a controlled demolition or looked suspicious. One person out of 15. So I thought, I think I'll do a special report, which of course is longer than the 30-minute nightly news in the next few weeks, where I'm going to go down to the University of Texas and then to the Capitol and then maybe 6th Street, 3 different crowds, and run a camera in a crowd for 30 minutes with an open mic and just ask people their opinions of 9/11 to give you a snapshot kind of focus group on the street. Now, there was an Angus and Reid poll 5 years ago, and we covered this in my film Terror Storm. You can just type it in, Angus and Reid, New York Times poll. 83% do not believe official story, believe government may be involved. So you see a lot of push polls and polls where they're calling or surveying people they've already surveyed before, and they have psychological algorithm actuaries that they know the answer they're going to get, and you hear 10 to 15% think it's an inside job. Other polls, 36%. Other scientific polls. Most polls are in the mid-60s. And that's what I found myself on the street. About 65% of people don't buy the official story. So they run this hoax that it's 10, 15%, and the establishment's running a new hoax right now that, 9/11 truth is dead. And I knew this was a talking point for the September 11th TV shows when MSNBC called, I don't know, New York Times, Slate, BBC, and after 2 or 3, I could tell what was on the plate, what the talking point was going back 3 months ago as they were getting all these shows ready. And it was, well, how do you feel now being discredited and the fact that no one believes 9/11 was an inside job? And then they would never present any facts. I could just see that that was the talking point. So when new media would call up, after that, I would say, let me guess first. How do I feel about 9/11 truth declining and being dead? And the Slate guy was, well, yeah, actually, that is my question. And I was like, so the editor called you up and said, this is the piece. So, don't you understand this is a talking point? Isn't that evidence right there? But see, these are hired mercenaries. They just write what they're told the angle is. And all the facts on the phone with this guy for, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, meant nothing. None of it went in this 5-part series they did. It was all just regurgitating the same playbook. See, I saw the playbook before 9/11. I went on air really 6 months before, a year before, but by 2 months before, I was able to specifically say they're going to blow up the World Trade Center and blame it on their asset, Osama bin Laden. And then I went on air the day of the event and pointed out they'd blown up Building 7. I had a nighttime radio show at the time as well. I told people, I said, I heard on the radio, on national news, it was at CBS and ABC, I heard both. I saw it on TV. They said they're going to have a controlled demolition of Building 7. I didn't have a big office or a big staff. I had one person working with me. It was my girlfriend, one employee, and myself at that time. Doing the fulfillment, making the films, doing the radio show, everything. 10 years ago. I guess I had one other, I had a secretary too, so I had 2 employees and then my girlfriend, so it was 4 of us then. So I remember seeing it, and people would attack me and say, you didn't see him say they were going to blow up Building 7, you didn't hear that. And then years later, when the internet became so prolific, all these downloads, and people at news stations released all that, and there's got to be more than 10 different newscasts. We've aired them here. I've put them in films, where there's cops saying, get back, they said they're going to blow up Building 7. And the news saying they're going to blow it up. And then after they blew it up, that big 47-story building, they told everybody, no, we didn't say we were going to blow it up. Those are the type of smoking guns. But I want to get into something even more important when we come back. How 9/11 has been used to kill our republic. There's no doubt the government's used it to destroy our liberties and freedoms.